What is up? Welcome back to the SuperCoach Experience podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Savage, the coach of the Xavier Turbos. Round 13 is here, and might I tell you, it's the Colatangi round. I'm joined here by the 2021 champion, Timothy Moody. How are you doing, Timothy?
Yeah, good, man. I was just sitting there smashing some water, and I'm thinking, I wonder if that's a little like a subtle clue. Just drink water, just at straight. I was just smashing.
I just filled up my water too, so
yeah, just because my I was just obviously clearly smashing. I don't know if everyone else knows, like you know. I was just trying to smash a full pack of Smith's chips just before we went live, just so we could not live but record, so we could. So I just had a full stomach because I haven't eaten much. But I didn't get the whole thing done, but I'm quite salty and just sort of had to deal with that, and then smashing the water looking like I was.
You led off with that saying, I don't know if everyone else knows. There's no way anyone else could have known that was happening.
That's so true, but I thought these were in shots. So we've actually got 2 packets of Smith's chips. I thought we'll place it on screen, but I wasn't actually looking at like the whole shot. But I just thought it was ironic before we kick off that they were like sort of close to pretty much blue and maroon, those 2 chip packets. And I thought, State of Origin, I just might chuck them up there anyway rather than down here because they're my snack for later on the drive home. Might not eat them both, but I got 2 packets of blues, like of the Smith's chips, the original. I think that could be an omen, 2-1 to the Blues. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, so you here, have a look.
Could get sponsored by Smith's chips.
Salt and vinegar and blue. He got 2 blue, 1 maroon, but you didn't mean to. You just
I felt like I probably needed to get 2 original ones just because I was trying to smash one as fast as I could to fill myself up. Thought probably not a good play with salt and vinegar. I could get a bit overwhelming. So yeah, that was my game plan with that, and yeah, Smith could be a good sponsor. So this is not an ad, but it could be because there's a lot of Smiths. You know, Billy Smith, I got him on my side.
True.
Sandon Smith. There's heaps of Smiths. I was thinking about bringing in a 3rd Smith at one point recently.
Sandon Smith.
Oh,
Billy
the
Smith.
Riley Smith.
Remus
Couple
Smith,
weeks back.
Remus Smith.
Yeah,
Cameron Smith.
Yeah, there's heaps of Smitties out there, mate.
Yeah.
Morgan Smithies. Good.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Could be a massive sponsor. I don't think that.
I mean, you know, you're really searching for content when you're talking out Morgan Smithies as a buyer. So
yeah, well, not as a
pretty
buyer,
tough
but at least he's a Smith.
Yeah, well, that's true. How'd you go on the weekend? Buy round 13.
Yeah, not really good because like there was opportunity to sort of probably go well. My game plan was to bring in 3 players, but I think I had in the back of my mind, you know, I did end up making a 4th trade. I boosted, and it was a desperate move because I already had 13 players. The idea was I was originally going to just sort of see how everyone went. If anyone underperformed, then I could make a 4th boost trade, get a 14th player in and drop out my lowest score. And I had quite a few 40, so I just didn't really think it was worth it and was tempted to wait to the very last game and go Egan to Hosking. But then I decided if I need to do this play like that's going to drop out a 40 from my score, it has to be a one with potential really big upside, someone who can score, you know, 3-4 tries. Already had Dylan Lucas. So I ended up going Ronnie, and it was a desperate one because if I had I think I just needed to acknowledge to myself, mate, there's going to be some shit scores in your side here of your top 13. You're probably not going to be happy with it anyway because you've got guys like Sandon Smith, Wade Egan who can just underperform, and then also Billy Smith and a lot of guys like that. So, not to mention all the other 40s I got from Garrick and Olakawatu, but yeah, I thought I'll go for the attacking play, but deep down in my heart, I think I knew I was making 4 trades, so I had factored in Lehigh into my trades at one point, but he wasn't in my top 4. He was in my top 3. And yeah, at one point I was prepared to make 4, but then I was like, look, it's probably not necessary. If I can get through this round and all players sort of score 50 plus, then don't make the play. And then when there was a few under 40, I kind of went to a really dark and desperate place and went, all right, Lonnie, it's me and you, let's do it, brother. And then he, you know, got suspended and he's ruled out for a little bit there and was the lowest scoring player in my side. So I didn't even get like 1 extra point out of it. Might even sell him this week just to get Lehigh in my side. And it's purely just because I'm going to be weak in the centre wings this week regardless. And I just think he was a better play. And even though I've missed that 100, we'll get to that in trades, but he's not a locked in for me, Lehigh. But now that Tommy's out, potentially it is.
So why did you go Ronnie over KL? Because KL's been
because I was 1,400 short exactly.
Oh, no.
But in the back of my mind, when I was short, I was kind of like, oh, good, because I wanted that sort of extra 100K to upgrade Egan this week to Colatangi. So if I could have got Eero and afforded it, I still probably would have done it, and then found another way to get Colatangi. I would have had to downgrade a second trade, which may have missed on me missing something else like a Lehigh. I would have liked to have got it perfect. Like, there was so many on the short list. I ended up bringing in Tarpany, and Aaron Clark. So I've got I've got the basey sort of forwards going, which I like with the side, and I've got a bit of rotation with the second row on the prop now with Egan and Simpkins and Horse there as well, which is handy. But yeah, I was tossing up very big between Eero and Herbie. They were basically identical draw-wise, price-wise, and what they've been putting out score-wise as well. I'll take the 70 over the 100. That could all even out. I'm not too worried about that one. But yeah, really disappointed. I went to a dark place and got Ronnie Mulatalo because it's just, I've got the boost. It's not so much the boost, it's the extra trade, and don't really want Ronnie on my side. It was just a one. It wasn't like I looked at the draw and I favoured Herbie because of the draw. So sometimes you just got to, not go to that desperate place. And for me now, it's just a matter of, got to be a bit more strict. It doesn't mean be conservative. It just means got to get it right with the trades. Can't be sort of going a bit too, I'm not sure about this one, but I'm going to go it and just see what happens. I want to be really pretty confident with it.
Yeah, 100%.
How about you, mate? I mean, I scored about 10 points less than you. I dropped 600 ranks. You went up a little bit. But, hey, we're ranked a lot different now since you were putting shit on me last time we were here.
Yeah, well, yeah, Jesus Christ. I was, 2K, you were 4K?
Yeah.
Where'd you get that from?
I just got it from the car. One I bought from home. It's part of my packed lunch.
It looks warm.
Yeah, it is warm. But it's not like super warm. It's like Luke.
It's actually funny because me and Grant were in here last week and we answered a question on the Patreon Q&A episode, and it was rank your top 3 favourite soft drinks. And
he was way more on the ball than what you were doing with that weird diet Mountain Dew or no sugar.
Pepsi Max is so shit.
It's a good it's a good, sturdy, reliable. It's a session one. Like if you want to, like I bought
a session.
Oh no, I mean not in a day, but like session throughout a week. Or if you want to drink one more consistently, this is one I'll go to more consistently. I go to some of the other ones for a bit more variety. But it's like I'd rather be drinking water, but sometimes I like a little bit of bubbles.
Yeah, okay.
But anyways, let's get off the Smiths and the thingy. Let's get back to the game plan.
I scored 927. I'm down to 12K. I made like 70 ranks. The thing is, like, I feel like I'm about to strike. I feel like I'm about to strike again. Like, I've got the team that can do it. But, like, in my opinion, I just didn't see much variation in the top scores of the week compared to the lower scores of the week this week. Like, I think...
The one that's just gone, yeah.
Yeah, the week just gone. So, I think I've determined that round 13, the major buy rounds, it's not a time to move anymore.
It's not as much as I thought it was too. That's why I made that forced panic trade. I'm sitting there in my mind going, look, I was struggling a little bit for numbers. I was planning a little bit. I got a little bit lucky with some of the guys like Horse and Olaquatu that didn't get named for Origin that got me to that 13. I thought there's got to be people out there that have even still playing, have still copped injuries and things that haven't fallen their way, and maybe they've only got 11 or 12. And I thought maybe this is a week where that little bit extra is really worth going for, because any other week we've all got this, 17 or 18 plays with the flex. This is one week I thought, even if it's just 10% or 20% of the people that I might have one extra number or a better play, then I thought it was worth it. But I think you're right, but I think there's still room to make ground in these bye weeks. It's kind of like, it's just a matter of quality versus quantity. It can be hard because we do have these guys that are decent enough, your Jenkinses, your Billy Smith, all these sort of guys that kind of lurk around, and Riley Smith, you just play because you're going to have to. But it's very hard to move them on to just a better one, because there's a lot of trades and stuff. Yeah. So you're going to have a couple of crappier guys, but getting the captains right, getting a little bit more of those guys that went bigger, there's still opportunity that people still jumped last week.
Yeah. No, I think so for sure. Like, you got to nail your captains, nail the quality, and I think that's pretty easy to do. Like, I think Lehigh was a big one last week. Like, quality in that round, like, it wasn't an obvious purchase.
It's a little bit unknown, and I wouldn't even thought about it. Yeah. The first person that I heard say it was Desi Creek, 2019 champ. And had a digger look into it, and I was like, fuck, he's going all right without the tries. And then
me and Grant were so hot on him last week.
Yeah, I heard you say then. I'm like, what's going on now?
Yeah, and we'll like, as soon as I heard Des say it, I'm like, okay, I'm onto something. And I listened to the SC Playbook podcast last week. What's his name? SC Spy nearly talked me into KEAON, which would have been a nice thing, but
price-wise, if you can only go one, they've both scored 100-ish.
Yeah, 100%. And then, I heard Desi was going with Lehigh, and I was 100% happy with that. But yeah, I think I've determined now these major buy rounds aren't really a time to move. I think it's the buy rounds after, the mini buy rounds, which is a really good time because we've got 17 players. If you're fielding 17 quality players compared to people who are fielding, 3 shit guys or whatever, I think it's a real good time to move. So, how many are you fielding this week? Are you looking?
I'm going to have enough. I'm probably going to have like a couple extra players that are cruddy to decide between. You know what I mean? It's not. I don't have a great 18. I'll be playing someone potentially. I think I found a way to not get. I was going to have to play Billy Smith, but now that I can't get Turbo, I'm probably going to get a centre winger instead. It'll allow my centre wing to be a bit stronger. But I'm playing guys that I'm not super, like Sandon Smith, I think factors into it, comes in. Brimson against the Storm and stuff like that. Ones I don't even want to play. So, and Jenkins, I think I might have to play. So yeah, not great, but I will if a couple of Origin players don't back it up, and I've only got Cleary and Munster, I think that I should be sweet regardless for numbers. But I see what you mean. There's definitely, and there's a lot of people that have gone a bit more heavy on the the dogs with maybe having Carraz, but he's now sold. So I guess there's not too many there. You got your Herbies, and then what's the other side is
Dogs, Sharks, Dolphins.
Dog Sharks. The Sharks is where a little bit more can be taken up there, I guess.
Hines, McInnes, Nicaragua.
AFB, yeah.
AFB, a lot of news there, but
it's not too much country. I don't think this one's going to be too big.
This isn't too bad, but I feel like the worst is yet to come. It's been a soft launch into the buy rounds, and I think it's only going to get harder. Trades wise, what are you at, and what do you think the ideal amount is?
Oh, I'd always feel better about. I've probably wasted 3 trades. I'm really unhappy with it. We're not just waste, like it's almost like in 1 week out the next, like the bloke playing for the winger. I think it's for now. Fainu.
For now.
Yeah, again the name confused, but I brought him in and had out the next week, and then might do the same with Ronnie. So a couple of those. I reckon if I had 3 more with Knowles out, I'd be kind of happy. And I've got 21 before trades, so I'll probably have 19 after trades going into this week. Would have felt a lot better not doing that Ronnie one. I know when I looked, and I think you've got 2 less than me, or is that we at the same?
What are you at now after trades?
After trades 19, but I thought you were 19 before trades.
Not this week. I'm 19 after trades.
You also will be at the same.
I'm 19 after 1 trade this week, and that's what I'm doing.
Wow. Okay. All right. So then I'll be 19 after 2. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. So I think we're in a bit of a rough spot looking at the numbers.
Like how many have you saved? Like it would have been. This will be my 2nd trade saved.
I've saved a couple along here. There was like a one. Like I didn't trade the first week, and then there was like some weeks I made just 1. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's more about what we have than what we've used than what we've got left. You know what I mean? Just rather than working out how many trades you saved.
I'm gonna get up.
Sabs is just dealing with a little something in the throat.
Yeah. Okay. So we're leading into round 13. We have 19 trades left. So based on that, we have 14 weeks left of trading. Based on that, we can trade twice for 5 weeks. Oh no, we did the maths just before this.
Yeah, no. So like if we've got there's 14 more rounds and we've got 19 trades left. If we wanted to use 2 trades every week with 14 rounds left, we'd need 28 trades. So we're 9 short of that. So if we were, let's just imagine we're 10 short of that. Let's just say we use another bad trade. Let's make it worse and better for us and also easier for my maths. But say we were 10 short, that means we've got 5 rounds without trading. If we just use 2 trades every week from now on, so then we've got to get through the last 5 rounds. That's provided we use 2 every week. But one thing we need to factor in is there's also the same as last week that just went by. There's another boost, like not a boost, but an extra 3rd trade that we can use in those weeks, which will be round 15 and 19, which can be very tempting if you don't have the depth or there seems like a guy you really want. Sometimes it might be someone like a Teddy that you need to use a 3rd to fund it and just make it work. So, yeah, it's not an ideal spot for us. I'm just trying to look at the thing I think about it, though, the more I'm worrying about trade numbers, the side looks more complete than I think it ever has in the past. And I look at so many of them, and I'm like, well, provided anything happens to so many players in my side, they're keepers for me, you know. And then there's only X amount of positions in my side that I probably really want to upgrade. There's one hooker. I'll keep one of the other ones that are just plodding along doing whatever. I don't really want to do too much more at prop, except probably I have to get Payne Haas back. I also want to get Tino back into my side. Other than that, with forwards and stuff, there's probably not a great deal that I really feel like I need to do. Colatangi this week, right? But, there's not a great deal there in the forwards. So then I bring it down to the halves. I've got Nathan Cleary and Hines. If I can get put through this hold period of Cleary, and I know he doesn't play a great deal, there's not much going on there. Happy with Munson. Then there's just even the fullbacks. I probably only want to make one or two more moves for the rest of the year. And then it's centre wing, I think, is where the most moving parts can move based on, guys peaking or coming back with guys like Lomax and stuff like that. Looking at numbers, I'm kind of okay. And I think we're doing all right for rounds 15 and 18. I think the guys that we've brought in over the last couple of weeks, if you brought in 3 or 4 or 5 players over that last couple of weeks, half of them will probably cover 15 and the other half will cover the others. So we're sort of, I look at my side and I've got at least 13, I think, already for both those bye rounds. And I think most sides probably will be close to that too.
Yeah, 100%.
How you feeling?
Oh, I can't.
I think we just, Stabs is just dealing a little short of breath. It's just rather than.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I'm feeling really like I'm really struggling to breathe at the moment.
Yeah, a little shortness of breath, a little bit stressed, a little nervous. It's
I don't know if it's
state of origin.
I think it's stress, but I really wanted this.
Doesn't have his run sheet and his computer in front of him this week, so I think he feels like he's got his pants down a little. But you're doing a fantastic job. So
no, it's not even that. You're doing some heavy lifting, which I like. I actually feel better when I talk.
That's right. That's what it's all about, mate. Just talk it out, get your feelings out.
Origin stars this week. What's your gut feel on who backs up? We've seen the team list. What are your thoughts on who backs up?
Oh, well, gut feeling a little bit maybe would be Ponga might not. Just I know he's that early game that's one of the first ones that's a shorter turnaround. But I think maybe, I don't know, just my gut vibe feels like maybe he won't. I feel like he could get beat up or could go through a lot of, and also think Payne has to. He's just, with the amount of, short period of him, is he going to make, yep, he just gets ready, thinks he's about to go to war, I think even if he does pull up fine, very good chance they rest him. Outside of that, I think, no, you're right, do your thing, man. Outside of that, there's just so many sides that are really relying on their players. And one thing that I was listening to SEN radio on the way in earlier, and this, don't quote me on this stat because this was a listener to the radio station that sent it in because Joel Kane and that were talking about the amount of state of origin players that have in sides that are in the bottom 8. And a listener sent in, and I think they said it was 20 of 34. So it's actually over, 50%. That's of the starting 13. So I don't know. They obviously haven't gone into the benches. But yeah, that's an interesting stat. So a lot of people are going to need those players to back up. I think guys like Cleary, the Panthers guys, I think there's not too many super relevant SuperCoach owned. I think a lot of us kind of may have, there's obviously Tino for a lot of sides. I don't have him. I'm sort of, and I've got rid of Payne Haas as well. So the 2 players I'm sort of hoping he'll back up will be Cleary and Munster in my side. And I'm pretty confident with Cleary, especially just because Panthers have identified that they're going to be resting all their players. I think it's after the one they've got to go to the Warriors for, I think it is, in round 16, yeah. So that's going to be a big trip for them. And Ivan's already said that he's going to be resting those players. So just one thing to bring you up to speed with, I will just discussing us and the people at home. You all right?
Yeah.
Cool. The thing I just brought up sort of was just the fact the amount of state of origin players that come from NRL sides that are outside of the top 8 at the moment. So I think it's 20 players out of the 34 starting 17. But I've only got that stat from Alyssa from SEN, so if it is a little bit off, then I'm getting it third hand, so forgive me for that. But definitely when you think about it, the amount of Roosters, you've got the Panthers, and also just you just go around, and you've got Eels as well. You're going to stand up now. You're like on a radio station. I didn't know that a lot of them stand up because they get right into it. Like when they're talking, it could be a new strategy. Maybe we should both stand up one week and just we'll just be using the full body language and it'll be a high riffing one. I don't know about you standing up and me sitting down. It's really getting a power dynamic and you talking down to me, but I'm kind of used to it.
I kind of like this.
Yeah, it's good, You can sort of get right into it and...
I feel a little bit better standing up, eh?
Yeah.
I do like it.
The more you think about it, just forget about it and it'll drop away for you, I reckon.
And I'll be able to sit down.
Yeah, but just if you deal with it, you've got to deal with it. I can continue if we need it to.
Yeah, no. Let's
yeah,
go.
So
Origin players.
Back up.
Origin players, I think
he's getting his knees, mate. No, what do you reckon? Payne Haas,
quad injury. Actually, like the reason I sold him last week, I don't think he backs up.
Yeah.
I think they're just waiting to see how it goes. He's under an injury cloud at the moment, but I don't know, just my gut feel is...
The only way I see him backing up is if he just rips and tears and looks so unaffected through the game that I guess and he pulls up okay, that the club just go, well, let's just go with it. And even if it's reduced minutes, but yeah, I think if he does play, there should be a bit of a drop-off in minutes just to sort of get him through this period. He has been playing, at full click.
He's a specimen, though, so I think...
Is he a specimen?
I think there's every chance he does. Kalen Ponga said 2 days after. I think Fletch Sharp, the fact that he 2 days after... Fletch Sharp, the fact that he did so good last week, so I think there's every chance to rest him as well. They are playing the Dragons, so winnable game. Also, Ponga just might get beaten up. Or beaten off, depending on what way the game goes. Where are we? So team list, anything else? Colatangi front row. Massive news. Colatangi in the front row. Beat the base stat record last week when he played the Tigers. He's near a must, isn't he?
Yeah, I did a little bit of a dig into the SuperCoach Pro stats the other night. I'll just take so many screenshots on my phone. It can be hard to find out where everything all is, but the numbers were really good. I mean, the sample size was a bit smaller than I thought. I actually thought he'd played a lot more through the middle, but I think maybe that might have been, at points coming off the bench as well. Yeah, geez, I really thought I'd be able to bring this up. I swear I took screenshots. We're all over the shop today, but yeah, look, it was 4 games I think he played at lock over his career and 4 games at prop over his entire career even still, but they were the numbers and the base, like it was all base and it was a small sample size of 8 games collectively through that middle role. But yeah, the minutes are good and he's doing it easily. It's not like one of those plays where you just sort of kind of watch, and even some of those plays like AFE are a bit week to week and feel like some weeks a bit better than the others. I feel like with a guy like Colatangi, he's like obviously not that quite at that Payne Haas level where you might get hundreds, every second or every third or more often. Now, he's dropped off a little bit, Haas, but Colatangi I think is a guy I'm pretty confident that you can take those 65, 75, so I should say, like more regularly.
So I got the stats from the preseason. KEAON Colatangi started at 6.19, so he's pretty much at his starting price. Priced at a 63.3 at the start of the year, averages 75.8 in the middle. So he's 12 points undervalued as it is. Yeah. I'm sorry, this show's so all over the place, guys. I'm not feeling that well.
That's all right, mate. We'll get through it, and it's more in your head than it is anything else. Just keep pushing on. We'll be sweet as. It's a tough carry, mate, but on these games, State of Origin, mate, you just got to...
Yeah, I'm excited for Origin.
Get in there.
I'm excited for Origin. Tom Trbojevic, out injured. You don't have him. I have him in my side. I'm actually feeling pretty good about it, to be honest, because I feel like he was in the top traded in list before this news came in, and I feel like it would have been that kind of pod who didn't turn into a pod. But now I'm in an awkward position where a lot of people are going to pivot and have Pappy, Drinky, and Teddy, and this is a predicament for me. I've got Pappy, Drinky, and Turbo at the moment. I think Teddy is going to be a must in round 15.
I don't think he necessarily has to be because I think their draws are both pretty much on par. I was like sort of locked into just getting Teddy and was like under no circumstances was entertaining the idea of getting Turbo back because I thought he just looks busted and I just lost any faith in. I know Turbo doesn't like us talking about his body, but yeah.
It's a sexy body.
Yeah, I was a bit worried about it. It was funny how he brought that up. Please don't talk about my body. I was like, oh, I get it. It would be annoying. Let's talk about other things, But
When did he say that?
Oh, going into the pre-game, he was talking to one of the staff and asked him, he's like, look, I'm just really sick of people talking about my body. If we could just, And I was like, I can't respect it, but it's hard to not because it's, affecting the way he's playing or whatever. But, yeah, so looking at him, I'm now, like, after last week, strapping's come off. Love that.
Yeah, as soon as I saw that, I'm like, he's good to go.
The fact that it was just a cork, that was great. It's a cork that sort of, I don't know, has he hurt that? Has he re-corked it again? Is it another cork?
Yeah. So pretty bad cork, but like them corks can bruise sometimes. And like maybe it's just like, maybe Seabold is actually doing a good thing here. Like I get why he's played him over the last couple of weeks because a cork could be tricky. Like you can't really get more injured from a cork. But like Seabold's probably done the right thing here where he's like, okay, I know we've come off a loss. I don't want pressure on you. You've had a really good outing.
Yeah.
Let's just rest it 1 week and you'll be.
He might be better for it. Yeah, the next week after.
And also, like the fact that he's come off a really good game, the week off, he'll be coming into the next game he plays really confident. Whereas if he finishes and has a couple of weeks off after an injury, after a low shit game, then his confidence is rattled for that few weeks he has off. At least with this week, with the injury rest, he'll know that his body's holding up. He's just resting it to make sure it recovers well. I'm actually really okay with having Turbo.
Compare the pair a little bit just draw-wise because I was locked in, you have to have Teddy for round 15. So Roosters, round 15, Newcastle. Which is, pretty good, but then you've got Manly who have got the Gold Coast. So if anyone's got a better draw, Gold Coast are leaking way more points.
In round 15 with no Tino, no Furmore.
Yeah. So
no Fodawaker.
Yeah, so if you're comparing the pair and one of them's like 400k less, you'd be way more confident that, Turbo, provided he plays, get into it.
I'm just going to lick it.
Yeah, go for it, mate. Gets the job done. And I mean, because the Newcastle have been kind of gritty in defence for the most part of the start of the season. They've leaked a little bit more recently. Last week, not so much. They were great against the Panthers. But then let's go past round 15 and compare the pair. Roosters, Teddy has, round 16, Teddy has the Cowboys. And then Sea Eagles are on the bye. So you just take that, you play your best other guy. But then the week after, in round 17, Roosters have the bye. So it's one guy has a bye 1 week and the other one has it the other. So if you're without your guy 1 week, you've got yours the next week, and the other players, that are on the other bloke, they don't have them. So it all evens out. And then you look at who Sea Eagles have in round 17. It's the Tigers versus the Roosters. Yeah, the bye. Then Roosters get the Tigers the week after. It's very equal, man. And then Sea Eagles have the Bunnies. It's not like they're hand in hand. So that's why I've come around to, prior to teams list and that information of Tommy not being available this week, I was going straight Turbo into my side, and that was going to be a long-term play for me, not a 2-week play and then upgrade to Teddy in round 15. It's like I'm going to go him instead, just at the price point. I don't think it'd be too much difference. But so I might still look at that now, but I've got to hold off now. There'll be other things to do in the meantime. But it's a good thing, man. Like, in a way, we get to see how Origin goes too. I mean, for non-owners, they get to look and see how Origin goes. If there's any backs that are really injured, Turbo's probably the most likely to replace someone as well, because, it's mainly just if Edwards gets injured, then it's Teddy going in. So I think that out of the two, Turbo's the most likely to get a recall, just based on the amount of other people that could get injured for him to replace.
4 people could get injured. Crichton's injured.
Yeah.
And that's his spot.
So, and I think he's probably just a little bit off fit. They might have even wondered whether they could rush him back this week, and they probably would have. They brought Burton into camp. They probably were aware that he might not have been playing this week already. They might have asked him. So if someone does get properly injured, then it's kind of like, maybe for people who don't buy him this week, it's good. And then for people who have bought him, they've got him as a pod. If he doesn't play, you can reassess him round 15.
I kind of like it, but what are your thoughts on this? So Storm have the bye in 15. 16, they got Souths, who are actually very
I don't want to self-happy.
Against.
Better keep going, yeah.
Cronulla in round 18. The only thing is round 18, Roosters have bye. So, like, if you're going Teddy over him, then, like, really only Teddy has one good matchup compared to Pappy's. I mean, Pappy has the bye in 15.
Yeah.
could-
I don't want to be doing too many roulettes. I think sometimes you just got to take your poison. You know what I mean? Deal with the rotation. It depends on your trade, so if you can make it work. If you've got extras up your sleeve, I think maybe a bit of roulette there could be nice and just get the best of the best on a 2-week sort of rotation or even a 1-week play even.
It's not pretty, is it? Like, I don't think there's any way to go. I just think don't panic, but I'm panicking because I want Teddy in round 15. And
I don't think you need to too much. I know it's because it's all been talked about like for ages. Oh, you got to get Teddy for round 15. Everyone's been talking about it. Like that's the time to do it. And you look at it and it does. That's where it kind of does open up. You do want to get him past the Raiders probably this week, and then he goes into the bye, and then it opens up. The draw generally does open up for him. But if you've got Turbo, I think you find enough with it, like to balance it out. You don't need to have both. It could be a nice way to get ahead to have both. But they kind of offset each other in the other way. As I said, there's one has a bye 1 week and the other one has a bye the week after. So it'd be very hard to pick the timing of it all accurately and well. And if they don't absolutely brain it, like it's, you know, what I will say about Teddy, this is a huge fucking point. Sorry to swear. It's huge. So as for me, someone who's willing to fade it, he was talking about how well the boys went after the game and how well they played under strength. And he said for himself, he's just sort of earlier in the year thought, look, with a lot, you know, the halves being a bit lighter and we're just being a bit lighter, I've got to do a lot more. I just have to. I've got to give him more in the game. And then he sort of said that more recently, he's come to really put a lot of faith in a lot of these new guys, all the younger guys, and he's allowing people to do their bit and then chime in when it best suits the seat, rather than feeling he has to do all these extras. So maybe that was a little bit of where we saw him not go through the roof last week. We didn't feel like he had to inject himself because Savala was kicking really well and, you know, getting the team around with great, you know, long field kicks and then the 2 identical placement kicks. So if you're thinking Teddy's just through the roof, like he's probably still going to go very, very well. But I think if you've got one or the other and Turbo is a factor, then I just don't think we need to stress about it this week. And I don't think Teddy's a buy this week either this much, like just being the fact he's got the Raiders too.
The Raiders then a bye, but...
And who knows, we'll see what happens with Origin, because if anything happens to Edwards too, he's straight in the squad and he could be in the squad for the rest of this period.
Do you think him
Teddy,
or Pappy comes straight in?
I'd say Teddy. Yeah, 100%, because he's been around that arena and he's playing the best footy. Like, he's playing really good, man. I'm a Panthers fan and I love Dylan Edwards, but if I had to have one of them there at the moment, I'd actually probably prefer Teddy. I think Edwards doesn't deserve to lose his spot, but if I just had to pick one, without having people judge me on my pick, you know, like, and all the responsibility of, like, someone like Laurie Daly, if he drops him and they lose and he's like, there's all this, you know, skeptical. I could just do it in my mind with no one.
He chose such a safe team, didn't he? Like,
and I think you kind of got to when you come off a win and you're a new coach as well too. You can't change too much, but yeah, and it's the first game in Queensland. And Laurie said he wants experience there too, and I think that's one thing that's important to him. So yeah, see how that goes. I think Origin's big eyes up, see who gets injured, and then we can all start to guess, and the media will start to probably give us an idea of who's going to slot in where.
100% agree. All right, let's go into the top traded in this week. Number 1, Colatangi, no brainer. Can you see any negatives for him? Origin potentially.
Yeah, that would be one. Okay, I mean, if he's playing well enough and because he's versatile, he can play on the edge and play through the middle there. I think he could be right next in the frame, you know, if someone does get injured there. So it could be a little bit of a concern, but I do like that we get to watch the State of Origin play out this weekend before having to lock that trade in. But I think if there was a major injury, I wouldn't get too worried about it either. I'd probably just go with it and hope for the best. Unless it was like completely obvious, and then you know, so we'll see how that goes.
Well, at least we get to wait and see tomorrow night, see how it goes. If New South Wales win, there's no injuries.
As for negatives, I guess maybe you could just go, well, like everyone's doing it, and you know the only negatives could be is there'd be a lot of sides out there that find it harder than other teams to get him into their side. Like they've got so much stacked forwards going on, and it might be harder to do. Like I don't have Tino in my side, but if I had Tino, I reckon that'd be that. Like I don't know how I'd make it work, kind of, because of everything else I got going on. So yeah, it could be a tough one to do.
Would you sell a gun to him this week to ensure to get him in this week? Because like he's on.
I'd sell like when you say gun, I'd sell someone of value like Horsburgh or someone like that, or maybe even Olga. Maybe Ola
Horsburgh for
because
sure. Ola
he's a little-
Kawatu, Nikora.
But I'm not. I feel like Ola's that guy that he does these couple of low ones, and then you sell him, and he bounces it back. Like he'll always sort of average out pretty well. And I think at the start of the season with Ola, we went through and said, look at how many times he actually does score under 80, and he doesn't have many tons, but he kind of sits in that sweet spot. And he'll probably those tons will balance out. And that'll be the one time you sell him, and he'll only do it those 2 times. So yeah, I think. Like he's pretty close. Not like I don't ever think anyone's a must-have because there's plenty of ways to skin a cat. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of forwards doing a good job there. But with the buy coverage and change of role and it being that little bit extra underpriced, there's a lot going on for it.
Dylan Lucas, number 2.
Consistency too.
Dylan Lucas was out on the weekend, but somehow still scored 147 points. So that was really good of him. Nearly scored a 4th try, by the way. But yeah, Dylan Lucas, I think if he's not in your side, he is a must-have.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, especially with his dual flexibility, it's just so handy, like week to week, especially if you can, if you've got another guy that you can swap around and interchange that with, whether that's a Beau Fermor or someone. Some people might have a Kane Bradley or someone else that's in that sort of role there.
Yep,
that's handy, and even just when it comes to trades too, you can trade someone in a position and then move him into that position and buy in a different policy. So yeah, all good. Got to get him, and especially with that breakout game.
Yeah, or breakout game. Fletch Sharp, number 3. I don't have him on my side at the moment, but I feel like
one you've called us scared of that you don't have. Like, yeah, I could understand that.
I'm not really scared of him. I'm not really scared of him. Like, he's a really good player, and I hope he scores not good, but I'm not scared of him.
I'm I was equally as as excited as I get about him going big. I still get a bit worried that he's got those low ones in him, and just depends how the side goes. Really, sometimes they don't attack too well, and if that doesn't happen, you're really relying on him to just be an individual and bust tackles and get those line breaks, but he's bloody good at it.
Yeah, for sure. For me, he plays round 15 against the Roosters. He has Penrith. Sorry, he's got St. George this week, then Manly, then the Roosters, then Dolphins. It's an okay draw, and then he goes into Canberra by Melbourne, Warriors, Canberra by Penrith, North Queensland, Brisbane. Like, his draw towards the end of the season is no good, so, like, for me, you're buying him over this period off the back of the 130, and then you're looking to shift him off for someone in your final.
I think if something happened to Ponga, like over a 4 to 5 or long-term or even period where he was going back to fullback and then having him available at centre wing, I think he then becomes a must-have. But, yeah, I like it. Obviously, he's a lot nicer at fullback from what his little bits he's shown last week and games last year, but... Yeah, still love him. He's a great own.
100%.
He's unpredictable. You just kind of don't know what you're going to get.
18 tackle breaks on the weekend. How good.
Yeah.
Lehigh, number 4 at 596K. It's a pretty good price playing fullback this week. So more base stats, but less attacking opportunity, but also more.
Get in a different way. Rather than being the recipient of on the back end of it, he can actually create it. Or
hands on the ball more, which is nice.
Great at support play too, and sort of just Manly seem to attack from their own end and stuff, which allows a lot of players to combine and support each other. And I like the idea of it a lot. We did it last week.
Number 5, really racing up the rankings in purchases. Ezra Mam, 494K at 5'8". What are your thoughts on it? He's had one game.
Don't mind it because, I just think that there's not a lot of other great options. I feel like, obviously, Munster's the standout option when he's playing now, just since he's had those 2 back-to-back great games there. And, let's hopefully he goes all right in Origin, but not well enough that still brings good form out of there. And even if he doesn't play well, he might then, and Queensland lose, he might then have that sort of DCE response in 2021 where they lose the series and he comes out and be the man for his team and has a good run for the back end. But, yeah.
100%. Who else have we got? Ewan Aiken, number 6. I actually like this one. At the price, 530K. They do have a tough draw over the next 3 weeks. They play first, second, and third. But Ewan Aiken, his base stats are through the roof. Last 2 weeks, 66 and 87. Playing on the edge, dual flexibility, very handy. I like it at the price. I think it's a good price.
He's not for me at the moment just because other ones want to do, but I get it, especially with the dual, it's mad for Lucas owners too. If that could be the guy they want to do that move with.
All right, we're back after the
little wee break and a few more. Had some salt and vinegar chips. They were way better than the original.
Oh, The original ones are really good, but salt and vinegar.
A little something, yeah.
So, what is the most racist chip?
I don't know.
The V chip.
You have to explain the joke, mate. It's
Well,
never a good sign, but
because like vinegar, V.
oh, maybe don't. I don't know. I don't know where it's going, but it's probably better not to. Hey, so look, in all that ruckus.
Sorry. I got to go next. So Ewan Aiken, Tom Trebojevic, he's number 7. Jordan Semrani, 370K. Named to start at centre wing this week. -9 break even still. I don't mind it. I actually really like him as a player.
How much did you say he was now still?
370.
No, not at that price. Not for me. I reckon it's just too close to 500 and you can get 500. But, like, I don't know. Maybe if it frees up things and it's been going okay. But, yeah, I just think that a couple of weeks ago was probably a better trade when he was closer to, like, I think he's in the mid-2s. So, yeah, I don't think it's a great thing.
I'll tell you what I don't think it's a great thing. Number 9, Hugo Savala. 395K. Coming off a 95 score. Break even of 7.
How much is he?
395.
Yeah, I thought he might have crept up by a little bit more than that with how he sort of... But
just Supercoach-wise, he's not a really good Supercoach player.
Yeah, he's sort of...
Because his role in Supercoach is awkward. Like, scored 65 in the Anzac Day clash. But before that, 20 and 21 in 80-minute games. 65 in the Anzac Day clash. 62 against the Dolphins. 25 against the Bulldogs. But the stinger is the way he's getting his points. So he's really relying on attacking stats.
Off kicks maybe a bit more, a little bit.
The 65, he scored a try, had a try contribution, and had 2 goals. So that's 29 points out of his 65.
Not always kicking there too.
He scored 40. He had 23 in tackles, mind you. He's actually tackling a fair bit, 25 tackles a game.
Yep.
I think with someone like him, I want to see more runs.
I think it really depends on why you're doing it. You know what I mean? If you just think he's like going to complement your side and...
He's only scoring 6 points per game, 5 points per game in runs, which I don't like. I think you've got to be attacking the line more in order to create more attacking stats.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it at all, but I get it. I mean, I think Liam Howie's doing that trade potentially this week. He's spoken about it. He's going pretty good, ranked top 500.
Which head of his is
Queenslander? Yeah, that's right. He's got probably 3 of them. But yeah, he was a big on Curran last week, and he went with that. I think sometimes.
Oh, he went with Curran.
He went with Curran, yeah.
Good trade in.
Yeah, I convinced him too. I know you talked him out of it. No, I told him just to back his gut. I wasn't big on it either, but I just said, look, you're in this rank for a certain reason, and you can get advice from other people sometimes. But if
what you're doing is working,
you might be seeing it a lot better than even other people you think might be a bit more seasoned or maybe have a better opinion of things. Sometimes you've got to just trust yourself especially when you've got the hot touch too.
Yeah.
And if you're seeing something, then go for your life because it was a pretty good looking trade too.
I mean, the current trade over this period isn't bad in my opinion. I just think for Curran, like it's so short sighted, and it's like there's not much upside to negate the down weeks for him.
Yeah. He kind of, if he can sort of put around those sorts of 65 to 80s, which I think he probably can, provided he gets minutes, and there seems to be an opportunity a little bit more with minutes there, then maybe, he can. And there is a bit of upside with him. He's like can find the try line too. So
yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so stuff like Savala, if it's someone that, if it does facilitate, the other moves that you really need to make and you've got good reasons for it. But I just don't think he's one of those guys that actually really complements your side. You're probably looking to get rid of him at some point more.
Yeah.
I don't know how much more money he's actually going to make. I know that was a big 97 last week, but...
Curran scored 97.
No, Savala.
Oh, yeah, fair. All right, let's move on to...
Curran was about 80-something, though.
Yeah, he scored 80 and pretty much 60 tackles, which was really good. Let's move on to tax season is coming up, so hit up Carl McGrath for your tax accounting needs. $110 for a basic tax return. If you've got something a bit more complicated, then he will sort you out for price. Just mentioned the show. He has launched his website now. Nice. So he's really excited about that because he's been working on it for a long time, back end. And it's really nice when things like this come together. I'll read it out now. Should have got it up earlier, but, Needed a bit of Viagra to get it up first. But McGrathaccounting.com.au, or you can give him a call on 0401 044 839. He's a good lad. He's ranked 314th in SuperCoach at the moment.
Knows how to crunch those numbers by the looks of things.
He knows how to crunch the numbers. I'm getting him on the show when tax season comes up in about a month. So
that's good timing.
So I think that's going to be a
couple
nice
little pointers.
Couple little pointers.
Bass. I don't know what that is, but I just thought I'd chuck that in.
He'll be able to maximize your tax refund as legal as possible, but as maximum as possible. So you've had him a couple of times. We've talked about it every single week.
Yes, I've had him a couple of times.
Yeah, you've had him a couple of times. But let's move on to the Pickle of the Week, brought to you by picklebet.com.au. Use the code TURBO when signing up. What is your Pickle of the Week? We'll tie that in with trades. It's easy for me. Dylan Egan to Colatangi. I think it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, that's probably what I'm going to do in that. I've still got Dylan Egan there too. But my pickle, I guess, was probably that I was pretty locked into going into Turbo. I made my mind up that I thought that the draw was equal enough and that at the price point, even if Teddy went a lot better, that it's kind of not really hurt too much, provided Turbo could put some decent points on the ball, which I thought he could. But now he's out this week. I don't know. I think I'd need to make a second trade rather than just the one Colatangi one. I just feel extra light with having too many guys I don't want to play this week. So if I can get another guy that I'm, confident is either a keeper or, so like Lehigh is what I'm looking at. So, but I think to fund that now, instead of selling Jenkins, because I wouldn't be able to afford, I was going to do Jenkins to Turbo, but now I need a little bit more money for Lehigh.
Anyone can do Jenkins to Turbo because it's a downgrade.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy to see how close Jenkins has come up in price to just other players, like even like Horse and stuff. I was like, you haven't really done any good things for me really yet, Jenkins.
But 40 with ease.
But yeah, he hasn't done anything good for the point scoring for me when I've played him. But he's sort of done his job in making money and stuff. He had that big game one earlier on. But yeah, so for me, the biggest pickle is. I'm probably just going to have to sell Ronnie Mulatalo. I think cut my ties because I really want Lehigh Hopper-Wati. When you look at the Manly draw compared to the Sharks draw, he plays a lot more games. Yes, I should have made that trade last week instead. I'd say it would have saved a trade. I would have more points on the board last week. But I was trying to save myself a trade last week and not have to make a fourth boost one. And because I forced myself into I've actually forced myself into costing myself another one. You know what I mean? So I was trying to save 3. Like I wanted to only use 3 in that kind of period, but now I'm kind of using 5. I made that extra trade of bringing Ronnie in, and now I'm bringing out. So I think that's how the maths works. But yeah, it's a bit messy. So that's the way it's probably going to work, and I'm hoping I can afford that. I'm pretty sure I can.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's just shit how it worked out. How were you feeling when he was on -10? Pretty much a half.
I don't look at the scores till even if at half time I'll screenshot it and not look at the screen and look at it after the game. I don't like to know what's going on. Yeah, so you screenshot it, look away. You've got to kind of have it out of the corner of your eye so you know you screenshot in the right screen, but you cannot make good eye contact with it and not actually see it. And
he was still on -3 before that try.
Yeah, but I heard you say something like, "Oh, he was lucky to score the try." But then, as I look at it, I'm not trying to say, "Oh, you're wrong." I'm just like, I look at it like he's more unlucky to get sent off, because he scores tries at a more consistent rate than what he does get sent off. Not to say he didn't deserve to get sent off, whatever. I think that whatever, I think maybe he was a little bit unlucky.
Do you reckon because it was Mulatalo? Is
chirping up in the weeks past, and they think of him. Maybe they think of him as having that extra niggle that maybe there is an intent there because maybe just a still photo I got sent of it looked like when he was like this far away from him that his shoulder was only going into his chest area, and there was a bit of a drop from him. So maybe a bit unlucky, but when you play on the edge, I guess these things happen. And it was a fun ride for no points. And
my pickle of the week is.
Can I just say one thing that also pickled me last week? I just not getting Lehigh Hopper-Wati and having Penasini go down very early in the game really was a stinger, because then you've got Sam Rani and Joash Papali'i defending, and although they were going to already go left a bit more than what they normally would have because they don't have DCE there, it just really gave them even more reason to do it. Surprised they didn't win that game somehow. Good on the Eels for.
They stopped going left in the second half. which is weird.
They just kind of didn't set up. Yeah, things kind of just kind of went away from, when sometimes it looks like they're setting up for it, that one of the players kind of goes a different direction to where they're meant to land in the tackle. But
and just awkward, yeah. My pickle of the week.
No direction, no direction in the halves. That's what you put it down to, I guess.
I said this a couple of weeks ago. My pickle of the week was just the players I'm playing. This week I'm playing Jenkins, Toya, and I'm playing Hubner, who is named to start, mind you, and I think he will get increased minutes with.
I've been looking at him every couple of weeks going, do I want to play him against Brimson when Brimson's got a tough draw? Just because, I think he can be like a 50-60 guy, but when you look at the scores, it's like maybe the minutes aren't there enough and he's only sort of getting closer to 35-40s. But
we started the year at 59 minutes. I think Colatangi in the middle kind of takes away minutes from him, but Ewan Aiken is on the edge. Tallis Duncan is playing on the edge as well, so...
It's only up from where he's at for him. So it's not like, when you've got players like Garrick and Olakawatu the week before, and there's always guys that are underwhelming doing 40s. Yeah. You can probably just expect one and just go, I'm taking that one. But
I'm pretty happy to play him for a 40. Like, we've got the auto emergency thing for a reason.
Yeah.
And like I said this a couple of weeks ago, I ended up going away from it and like fixing up my team so I wasn't playing all these sort of players, and I was actually worse off like by quite a significant amount of points.
I know how it feels.
I feel like not forcing things to make your team long term be better. And I know I probably need to maximize my team every single week.
Yep.
But at the same time, by doing that, I'm selling like a Horsburgh or a Jenkins who I think
and then makes your side a bit weaker sometimes because you force something else, and I can understand that.
And also spending another trade now that I could use later in the season.
Yeah, there's a lot of roll-on effect from every decision that you make.
And I think if you haven't started well, just make sure you've got enough numbers over this period, and then maybe just load up on striking later in the season because you haven't striked early.
Just really get your captains right. I know we say it all the time, but it can make such a big difference, you know what I mean? Like,
sure.
Yeah, so one thing I was going to identify just sort of, that's similar to what you're saying is like I got that bloke in my side, tried to fix up a thing for long term and brought Wade Egan into my side. He's gone out of that, back when the hookers were a thing and do we sell, you had to sell Mamazoulos, I had to sell Connor Watson. Who do we go to? Riley Smith. Do we go to Jazz? Do we go up at premium and go to Wade Egan or someone like you and McInnes? My guy's doing the worst, I think, for averages. And like he got unlucky, Wade Egan not having a try assist a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, it's just it's not great. And he's losing.
Who do you think is the winner though?
He's losing money. Jazz Tavanga looks like he is to me. Like he's scoring pretty well, and he's got a low BE. Even Riley going good enough. You copped 1 or 2 30s there, but I think he's got just as many 50s. Like I think. I'm the loser. That's all it is. Wade Egan trading, like that seems to me the worst one. You've gone all right with your 70 with your try last. Well, I thought that was going to look down. It's going to be 100 because I thought that's what he normally does. But then at one point in the game, I don't look at the scores. I had a moment where I'm going, well, I don't really actually remember I'm seeing taking too many runs. And I don't think even the tackles weren't as much as what I normally be like, oh, there's another one as much. And so, yeah, maybe that was held back with the base or whatever. But yeah, so I feel like a massive loser out of that one. And the first part about it is I don't know how long to just ride this out for. Like, there's not really anyone else I want to pivot to. And also, I don't even know which one to play on a week-to-week basis if I've got depth out of Sandon Smith and Wade Egan. Because Sandon Smith seems like he could potentially has upside with kicking and can get a bit more attacking stats. Puts out 60s and 70s some weeks when you don't even think he's done a great deal. And then Wade Egan's struggling to get 35-40 for me now, which is...
Yeah,
and he's fairly relatively well owned. He's not super commonly owned, but I think there's maybe like 6,000 to 7,000 already bought him in. I think there might have been I think he's at least.
Who's this?
Wade Egan. I think he's like 10 to 15% owned at least. Yeah. So there's other people feeling my pain.
I had him last year, and I'm not doing that again because I feel like I looked at his numbers early on, and I'm like, these numbers are so good. It's just it always happens this time of year. He just falls off. Like I don't know, just always starts so hot.
He just looks like, now, well, not really last couple of weeks, but I just always think he had been such a crafty little upside sort of. But yeah, I think he's looked tired out there the last couple of weeks. I'm going to point that out to you, but yeah, we can move on from him.
Yeah, let's go to tipping point. This week it'll be all the popular purchases: Colatangi, Drinky, Pappy, Hopawade, Cleary.
Oh, Cleary not necessarily a popular purchase as much, but one of those more popular captains maybe. For those who don't have Drinky and Pappy.
Colatangi, let's start at 75.
Start at 75. Okay, so I'm going to go.
I'm going over. I'll start.
How much? You're going over just over 75?
Over 75.
Okay, yeah, I'll go over 77.
I'll go over 85.
I'll go under 85.
Yeah, okay. So I'm over 85.
If he's had 4 games at prop and he's averaged 75.5, which is what I was scrambling to find before.
Drinky versus Tigers at home. I'll go over 60.
I'll go over 70.
I'll go over 80.
I'll go over 84.
I'll go over 88.
I'll go over 90.
I'll go over 92.
I'll go over 95.
I'll go over 97.
Oh, I really feel like I feel like it's just a little bit more that I want to take. I'm just going to take the under now. I can give away where I'm at. I think I'd prefer to be about maybe like 103 to 105. That's where I reckon he might. I'm hoping he sort of sits.
Pappy versus the Titans, 3 p.m. Saturday versus the Gold Coast Titans at Gold Coast Titans home ground.
Yeah. Really hope all the boys back up will help. Like, where'd you start him at?
Oh, sorry, I'll start at 80.
Yeah, I'll go over 88.
I'll go over 92.
I'll go over 103.
I'll go over 113.
I'll go under 113.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm going to try to chalk it back. Did you win last week against Green?
No.
He got, yeah, because I've noticed at one point it was 2-3. That's when I last looked at the scoring.
It was 5-all. Now it's 6-5.
2-1 when I looked at the scoring. I didn't know what the last two results.
It was 6-5, and it's funny because I think Grant's got me maybe once, and you've scored most of the points for the boys. So, yeah,
that's what I'm thinking. The unders. I'm agreed. I love the overs, especially when I'm probably going to vice captain these. But I'm just sort of trying to play the percentage play and think that it's probably. Yeah, more likely. They fucking kill it. They could both go 150 plus.
Hopawade 55.
I'll go over 59.
I'll go under 59.
Against the Broncos, I really kind of respect the Broncos.
Could go either way. Yeah. Nathan Cleary.
You went under 59?
Yeah. Nathan Cleary versus the Parramatta Eels at whose home ground? We don't know.
Yeah, it's weird because we played. I know we're away from our own home. It's getting upgraded this year, but when we played Brisbane at Magic Round, it was a home game for us, which is ridiculous. It was put as a home game. Like I just like at least put it for them as a home game. Let us play another home game that's classed as a home game at Bathurst or at Combank or whatever closer. That just seems weird. And then even to add this one as our home game when they're there, I guess. If we play them twice, one of them's got to be theirs and one of them's got to be ours. That's the only way that's fair. So when you consider that, but yeah, I mean, we've got bigger problems than where we're playing our footy. So
bigger fish to fry.
Yeah. The old Panthers.
Cleary 79.
Cleary 79. Yeah, I'm going to go 88 over 88.
I'll go under 88.
Cool. Power going to right,
nice and easy. Who are your captains?
Probably Scotty and Pappy at this stage.
Me too.
Yeah, so that's where I'm feeling like just going the double and just sort of one goes mad, take him, and then the insurance the other. I think between the two of them, one of them goes really well. It might just be kind of like if whoever plays first, which I'm pretty sure it's Pappy that plays first. If he goes, yeah, like it might be kind of like, do we get greedy and do we think he can go better depending on how well Pappy goes?
Yeah.
So we'll have to assess that. And
I'll be taking probably anything over 100, maybe 110.
Considering we can drop out someone in our side that's probably not that
I'll be
great.
dropping Lockie Hubner. It's an easy decision for me. Royce Hunt will come into my side, but the thing is, if I'm dropping Lockie Hubner, he won't be my 18th player anyway. So Royce Hunt will come in, he'll be my 18th and drop out. And yeah, I guess we'll see. Depending on if I have any low scores prior to that.
Yeah, Cleary's definitely a great option. And I think there was another one that I thought that I could get around before, because there was a stage where I thought I might not be able to vice captain.
I think Teddy versus the Canberra Raiders is a pretty good one. Canberra Raiders had a really
I know you say that he goes all right against them. I just kind of think the other ones are obviously a lot better. If you've got one of the others, probably go them. maybe if you want to have a cheeky vice
He loves
captain.
it. He loves playing them.
Oh, he's playing captain. He's last of the round, so you'd have to have your captain on him if you're going to go Teddy. But that could be a way if the others don't go great, if you don't have both. But yeah, I just think the Raiders are real good at the moment.
No Starling.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yep. All right. Apologize for today's episode, guys. I think I don't know what was with me.
Get a little anxious there for a bit.
I was struggling to breathe, and it's been going on lately. Like I'm being short of breath.
You did well. You fight or flight. You push through, mate.
Yeah. So. No, it's so easy to get rid of it sometimes, but I don't know. I'm just
a little bit of a woosah.
I don't know whether it's anxious or whether it's something going on with me, but like the breaths are really short. Like I'm not breathing in fully, breathing out. And I know I can sit there and breathe in and breathe out fully, but it doesn't help me.
These electricians too many times on smoko.
I do have a lot of smokers. not actually smoking, but we just sit down
Chill
and
out
watch
a bit.
videos and stuff. So
maybe it's passive from the other boys.
oh, I'm sorry, guys. We'll be back on. I'll be doing the Q&A at some point this week, probably tomorrow, and then I might do it Thursday because I was going to do another podcast Thursday, just wrapping up Origin and
tied into one. Have more information when you get into questions.
One, so we got more information. So thank you for tuning in. You have tuned in far out over the last 3 weeks. 2 of them been bad. One had no co-host, and this one I've just been I've been Newcastle Knights fucking passenger.
You've been all right, mate. You give. I mean, if you left me hanging completely, it would have been tough. Like I couldn't have hosted the thing without notice. I probably because I'm just too all over the place. I'd need some sort of run sheet myself to do that. But you've done well with the conditions thrown at you.
Today's been a long day. Woke up at 3:30, went to the gym.
Yeah.
And then started work.
That's the other thing. We go straight from work to here. It's very hard to prepare and be super smooth some days. Some days you get a little bit of time to sort of get.
Oh, I prepared, but just not I prepared, but I'm not mentally.
You left your computer at home. I think that threw you a little bit too.
Yeah, it did throw me. But I've got the notes on my phone and stuff. But
good luck, everyone.
Started work at 7, finished at 4, went straight to Daily Telegraph, and then recorded there from 5 to 5:30. We rushed to get in here before 6 because everyone leaves at 6, and then now it is 7:09. So it's a 3:30 to 7 shift, and I'll be going home an hour away drive.
Yep.
And then editing. It's a long day. It's a fucking long day.
And yeah, to everyone out there that sort of had a couple of bad weeks or sort of few bad weeks here and there, and a bit like myself, a bit all can't really put it all together. Just remember, it's just another week that another good week, and you're back on course. You know what I mean? So. 100%. Yeah, it's all about trying to be a little bit more consistent. The best we can do with our captains. Sit v starts can be a bit tough over this period because we don't really have too much to pick from. So it's more about probably just getting that right and, making the right trades that are going to, timing it, getting them on a good matchup when you bring them in, or if you have to go with an early BE, go early on them if it's a tougher matchup sometimes. But just, look at them from a longer period and know that if sometimes you bring in a player over the last couple of weeks or the guy you bring in doesn't do well that week, You've got him in for a long period. I've had plenty of players that have repaid me, that I kind of was like, was a little bit down in the dumps about him, but then a week or two later they did really great. Like Munster was one of them for me when I brought him in when the Campbell went down, and I just was a bit like, I really just wish I didn't do this trade. It just felt boring, but then having him just, a couple of weeks later really felt like a massive difference. So, yeah, they're these ones you just sort of keep your chin up and keep on throwing those punches, get it done.
All right, cool. See you next week, and see you this week. Have a good time.